Welcome to the very first episode of TikTok Famous Podcast. I'm your host, Meredith Willits, and I have some amazing guests lined up for this podcast. I was literally taking a nap, kind of in and out of sleep as I do, and all of a sudden this idea came to me. I am going to interview people that have made their way from beginning to millions of followers on TikTok. And that is not an easy thing to do. And a lot of people give creators or influencers, a lot of grief, but it is not easy to get and amass that type of following. Just some of the creators I have coming up live and in studio and also out in podcast land. Um, we've got Cherry Emoji Girl with 1.5 million followers, The Real Slim Sherry with 1.7 million. It's me, Melissa P, with 630K. Danny01, 700,000 followers. Lady Painted 90 with 1 million followers. And I have a ton of other huge names coming up on the podcast. We just don't have dates yet, so I don't want to put them out there. But huge, huge names that I am in contact with and in conversations with that we are going to get on this podcast to start sharing a little bit more behind the scenes. You see, TikTok is anywhere between 5 seconds and 10-minute long segments or videos, if you will. And although you can do story time or have lots of videos one after another, most creators are creating from a space of this is what I'm presenting to you. So they're either talking about politics or makeup or family life or fashion. There's a myriad of things that people can be talking about on social media. But that doesn't mean that we get to know why did they start creating on TikTok? Why do they keep creating on social media? Because it's one thing to create a few videos. It's another thing when those hate comments start coming in, or why did you change your hair? Or why did you switch your content up? That kind of stuff really starts to get to you. And a lot of people out in the real world, if you will, look at creators and say to themselves, like, this isn't that difficult. You pick up your phone, you create a little content. Who cares? It's not that difficult. You're getting paid money to do it. But it really does take a toll on you a lot of times because of the fact, first of all, you're constantly watching whether or not you're getting out on that For You page. You're constantly watching the criticism. Is this video going to hit? Is it going to flop? Am I being shadow banned? What are all the trolls saying? What are all the people that are actually following me saying? Maybe they hate this new content. And we as creators usually put out what we want the world to see, good, bad, or ugly. And what I want to do here is talk about all the reasons that you started and all the reasons that you keep going and why it is that you want to talk about why these creators are talking about what they're talking about, what makes them tick, where they get their content ideas. Is it coming from real life? Is it coming from, what they see throughout the day? And why are they so passionate about it that they, continue to put themselves out there over and over and over again? I find it fascinating. Sometimes I will post, for myself. I've got over 1.2 million followers across Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. And, there's days that I put myself out there. My teeth still have coffee on them, no makeup. I might even have a hoodie up. And there's other days that I want to have a full face of makeup and put my best self forward. And it just really depends on mood or when that idea hits. And I'm also I'm a thought leader creator. So I bring thoughts and ideas to my following, whereas a lot of other people do an entire skit. Shauna, the mom, is coming on. I have her as saying that she'll be on. I'm praying to God she still does. I know she's really busy. This woman is literally creating entire movies of content over on TikTok and also on Instagram. And she is just phenomenal. Not only is she now creating entire skits, but we're now seeing behind the skits, behind the scenes of the skits of these actors, and she's playing every single part. This woman is unbelievable. And I'm praying that she's still able to show up here. There's a lot of content creators that come from the LGBTQ plus community, that share, from the trans community, that share to bring knowledge and to just bring awareness, and I don't know, guess normalize, make it like, hey, I see this person, they're talking about makeup. I see this person, they're talking about their family. I see this person, they're talking about their life. And all of a sudden, you start to know this person that is from a completely different community than maybe you belong to, or maybe that you travel in. And so that, to me, is the beauty of TikTok, is that it takes you outside of your normal everyday community. It takes you outside of the streets that you walk in, the circles that you travel in, and it brings these new people from all over the world in all different walks of life into your phone, into your home, and it introduces you to completely new lifestyles, into completely new people, into completely new lives. I know when all of this first started going on after the election, I was introduced to all of these farmers. I live in the suburbs. I would have no possible way of learning about farmers and farm life, and the fact that they need fertilizer, duh, for their crops, and where they get it from and how much it costs. I'm introduced to women that are content creators of the trad wife lifestyle. I've commented on that, gone viral about that, ended up on news stations, or possibly even a TV show, just because I commented on the trad wife lifestyle. Social media is bringing us a view into other people's lives and to other ways of being outside of our bubble. And I think that that is miraculous. And I feel that it is definitely worth a conversation to have with these people outside of what they're presenting to the world. I also think that, these people with huge followings, I'm in talks right now with a huge content creator. She has made a name for herself all over the globe. She has brand deals. She has her own fashion line. She is world famous. And these people came from creating content on their phone in their apartments or houses, and have become household names with huge deals. That is the power of the platform of TikTok. That is the power of the platform of social media. Is it's breaking through marketing. It's breaking through the the constructs of not being able to get out there. And these people are doing it on their own, in their houses or out in the world, creating content from an idea. They're following through on how they want it to look, and how they want it to feel. Maybe they're adding music. Maybe they're breaking it up into segments, and they're putting themselves out there courageously, not fearlessly, courageously, to try to make something happen for their lives. And these people have amassed followings of millions of people across social media platforms. They're doing the thing. And for that, I applaud them. And for that, I find it very important to get to know these people. And that is why I have created the TikTok Famous podcast, the stories behind the scroll. And I hope you join me each and every week right here. I'm going to be on YouTube. I'm going to be on TikTok, sharing some of the clips from it, and all around everywhere podcasts are listen to Spotify, Apple, you name it. We're going to be everywhere. And if you are out there and you are a TikTok creator, a TikTok influencer, and you want to get in on telling your story in a longer format with someone that is curious and really wants to get to know you and really wants to share your story on this platform and all the other ones I just spoke about, please contact me at Meredith TikTok Famous Platform, TikTok Famous Podcast.com, and we will get you on the show. There's also a website, TikTok Famous podcast.com. And there's a form you can fill out there to let me know what your story is all about and why you want to share here in podcast world and on YouTube on this platform. I believe that every person on this planet has a story. I believe that every person has a story worth sharing and that there's millions of people out there that could really benefit from hearing your story. So contact me over at TikTokFamousPodcast.com or Meredith at TikTokFamousPodcast.com via email. Or, you can contact me on any of the other platforms and message me. This is my desire. I'm fascinated by human beings. I'm the person that goes to a party, will find one person and just have an intimate conversation with them in the corner, really get to know them. I'm not really a person that buzzes around a party so much. I'm more on the intimacy level of wanting to get to know you. And that's really what I want to do here. I want to bring your story out to the public if you want, and just show a different side of yourself, especially if you're one of those people that, tends to share stories or we don't really get to know you because of the content that you create. So I hope each and every one of you subscribes to this podcast, follows along. The live shows on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, they're going to be more sporadic just based on recording times for these folks. But the podcast will be live every Monday. So look for that. Subscribe. I wanted to get this out there so at least we have one out. But again, we have about 7 lined up already with millions of followers, very interesting people. So I hope you tune in each and every week. But, stay with me because it's going to be a great show.
Thanks for tuning in to the TikTok Famous Podcast with Meredith Willits. If you're loving the unfiltered stories and behind-the-scenes truths, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share the show. Until next time, let's get famous.